So this is the Assets V2. I never used the Assets V1. I'm not even sure what it looks like, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what's changed from the V1, so I can't really compare it to the V1. But the Assets V2 is made in Malaysia. You can see how it looks here. This is the 18350 version. It is, let me give you the Facebook page here. It is going to be available in the US pretty soon, actually from Vaporoo, which is a vape shop out of San Diego. And there is their website, by the way. It's going to be available from Vaporoo San Diego, or Vaporoo San Diego. It's going to retail for around $260. These were available from a list also earlier. That list has been closed, and I think for U.S. purchases from this point on, it's going to be they're going to be sold through Vaporoo. So the materials are 316 stainless and 360 brass. It's 108 millimeters tall total with everything in 18350 mode, 128 millimeters in 18500 mode. It's 22 millimeter diameter. It has brass contacts. Weighs about 310 grams, and it's got stacked 1 millimeter air holes. It's got a 2.5 millimeter mesh wick hole. It's actually got two of them, so you can set it up with single wick, dual wick, or U wick. The tank is Pyrex, 20 millimeter diameter, 16 millimeter inside diameter, so it's nice thick Pyrex. It's pretty well protected too. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. And one of the interesting features is it actually has adjustable top chamber depth. So, and we'll show you that here in a second. So, let's talk about how this thing looks. I think for regular use, for everyday use, I prefer a brushed finish. But this thing is just beautiful looking. I should have polished the brass on here, but I've been using it all week, as you can see by the brass getting a little bit of patina growing on there. But the finish on this is just absolutely impeccable. I mean, there's not a damn mark on the whole thing. It's just mirror polished. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Really, really high quality finish work on this thing. I mean, it's like silky to the touch. It's so smooth. And like I said, I mean, I looked this thing over top to bottom when I got it, and there was not a mark on the damn thing. It's really, really good quality control. What does it come with? What you see is what you get. I didn't get any extras with this. It comes with the atomizer, and then it's got, the screw for the, to plug the fill hole, and that's pretty much it. So, the lock ring on this is interesting. It sticks out from the device just a tiny bit, as you can see. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably 23 millimeter, which makes it really easy to grip, and it's really nice and smooth, and you don't have to turn it real far. It's like a turn and a half to lock and unlock. Real smooth. And the firing button on this is just silky. It's really, really soft. It's really, really smooth. It's a nice short throw. I really like it a lot. It's got some engravings on here too. If you can see on the base there. Come on, focus for me, baby. There you go. Designed by Jemit, who is the name of the mod maker, and then it is serialized as well. There's also an engraving on the side. It's got the same engraving on both sides. You can see there. I don't know what it is. If you know what it is, tell me. And it also has another engraving on the top right there that says Assets. So really, really nice looking. I think the finish on it is just fantastic. Let's talk about the internals a little bit. Like I said, the button, super, super smooth. I really like the lock ring on it as well. The inside is actually kind of a similar setup to the Fugatti with that little C-clip. except it has the insulator rather than relying on the insulation of the battery around the edge there, and then it's got the brass contact. You also have on the opposite end, if you look inside there, you have an adjustable brass screw so that you'll be able to adjust this for variations in battery height. Now, oops, hold on a moment. I'm going to take a quick pull off of this before I take the top cap off, and we'll talk about that. So, now one of the interesting things about this device is you can actually adjust the warmth and throat hit of the device by pulling the top cap up and down. So the way that this works is it's got a dual O-ring set up here, but you'll notice that the atomizer deck, the sides of the atomizer deck are actually flush with the tank there, and it's a perfect line up and down. And then the inside, if you look, it's got a lip on the top and a slightly reduced chamber. And what happens with that lip is when you push it down all the way, that lip catches on the top O-ring. But even before it hits that top O-ring, it is sealed and it won't, drip out the side. So basically what that allows you to do is adjust once you get past that first O-ring, like I said. Whoops. Once you get past that first O-ring, you can have it sit like this if you want to, or you can keep pressing this down. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this with with that showing. Or you can keep pressing this down so that it's popped down all the way. So if you want to pop it back up, it'll decrease the throat hit, it'll make the chamber a little larger, decrease the flavor a little bit as well. If you want to maximize the flavor and throat hit, press it down all the way until the second O-ring pops. Pretty cool little feature. And as you saw, I have it set up with a dual coil, as you can see right there. Alright, hold on. Here's where we go off of auto focus. So I've got this set up, as you can see, with a dual coil here. This one I actually use cable and mesh hybrid. That was just mesh in the Fugatti, by the way. Doing a little side-by-side. And then you've got your little fill hole, you've got your negative screws, and then you've got your positive screw in the top there. Really easy to set up. You've got the nice flat atomizer deck there, so you got a lot of room to work with. And then, like I showed you on the inside here, you've got that slightly reduced chamber with that cap, so that it slides down and makes good contact with the O-rings, so that you don't have any leakage down the sides. How does it vape? So first I set this device up with just a single coil, right around 0.8, 0.9 ohms, something around there. And to be honest, I wasn't really thrilled with the vape. It just wasn't, it didn't have enough flavor. And it's even with the adjustable top cap, that chamber on the inside, because it is a 22 millimeter atomizer, is just large. I mean, it's just the way that it is. It's got a big open chamber, and with the single coil setup, I just was not getting the flavor out of the device that I wanted. So I said, alright, screw it. Try again. I pulled the wick out, and I rewrapped it, doubled the ohms, put another wick in, did the same on that side, so I had basically the same resistance, 0.8-ish ohm, but dual coil. And boy, what a difference. Even though it doesn't have the holes over the second coil, which I do prefer, I'm still getting a lot of flavor from it. And it's a very warm vape. It's got a little more throat hit than I usually like, which would be reduced if the air hole, there were a second air hole over the second coil, So that, that would be my preference. But this did greatly improve the vape. So if you are going to get one of these, I would personally recommend setting it up with a dual coil. I'm getting very good flavor from it now that I set it up with a dual coil. Set up with the single coil, I did not get the amount of flavor that I would like or expect from a high-end device like this. Let me take another vape. Vapor production's good. It's got pretty relatively tight draw, so you're getting very good vapor production despite the tight draw as long as you set it up properly. And like I said, with the dual coil, it's got quite a bit of flavor. To summarize the positives and the negatives, I think it absolutely looks gorgeous. The finish on it and the quality control on this device are just ridiculously high. Higher than I was expecting, to be quite honest. Everything's very well made, everything's smooth, everything fits together perfectly. There's a very, very high quality device. The only I love the switch, like I said. I like the lock ring on it. It's very smooth. The switch is very soft, and it feels good in the hand. It's a good size. The only problem that I have with it, like I said, is you really got to set it up with a dual coil in order to get the flavor that I personally would expect from the device, that I like from the device. Not a huge deal. Setting it up with a dual coil isn't that big a deal. You're going to drain your battery a little bit quicker, but it is what it is. If you know how to set up a dual coil, just put a dual coil on it, you'll be good to go. If I had to change something about the atomizer, I would love to see a version 3 with a more reduced inner chamber to improve the flavor production a little bit, and do dual air holes, not just the dual stacked on one side, but also have air holes over the second wick as well, so that it's really designed for a dual coil, and you have the airflow passing over both wicks. That'll really maximize the flavor and performance of a dual coil device. So, do I like it? Yes, absolutely. I think it's a good device. I think there's a little bit of room for improvement, but I think that it's incredibly well made, and it's got some pretty cool features. I like that it's got that adjustable top cap, even though it's a feature that I personally wouldn't use, but it's just cool. And the button's awesome, and it looks awesome, and I think it's a classy looking mod. So there you have it. That is the Assets by Jemit. I'm going to take another vape and then we'll move on.